Hey Uncle Joe, how are you? My name's Ahmed. I'm a huge fan. Thank you for all you've done for the sport. I have a question for you. Is there an ideal body type for mixed martial arts?
Hard question to answer. I'm inclined to tell you yes. My hesitation with telling you yes is if you ask me a follow-up question and go, well, then what body type is that? That's where I would be a little bit stuck. Look, I will tell you a couple of things. First off, when a guy is trying to pick a weight class, he needs to make sure he gives consideration to height. Height is far more important. We always talk about reach advantage. Height is more important. And it's not important to have a big height advantage. It's just important to not have one, okay? If you're going to fight at 205 pounds, by example, where the average height would be 6'1 and a half, and you come in at 5'11, it can throw you off a little bit. Johnny Hendricks would be a great example. When Johnny moved up to 185 pounds, Johnny had all the skills. Absolutely he did. Chris Weidman was the champion. Chris Weidman would tell you Johnny Hendricks is a problem. What Johnny's issue was, though, was height. It wasn't strength. It wasn't speed. It wasn't the ability to go with some guys that weighed a little bit more. He had a height issue, and he had a deficit, and all of a sudden that strength can go away, particularly when you get locked up with a guy. Guy gets what's called an underhook, where he comes underneath your arm and hooks it. If he can just stand up, and now all of a sudden you're on your you're real weak. You start to have some real leverage issues if you have height deficits. And there needs to be a consideration put on that. I will also tell you this as it comes to body. Most of the greats have something unique about their body. Muhammad Ali, by example, had extremely long arms. Mike Tyson, by example, was very compact, but he could get inside and it just created immense amounts of power. Michael Phelps comes to mind. I realize we're not talking fighting, but we are talking sport here. If you ever watch Michael Phelps when he's warming up, right before he jumps in the pool, right as the cameras are coming and everybody's getting on the lines, swimmers will do the warm-up where they bend over and they just swing their arms. If you look at his back, if you look at his wingspan, if you look at how long he is all the way to his fingertips, I mean, it is very unique. It's no wonder that he can reach and pull himself through a body of water at such a rapid pace. Simone Biles, the greatest athlete, not only alive in the history of time, is I want to say she's under 5 foot. I want to say she's 4'11". I'm very close. 4 foot 9, 4 foot 10. Very short, but she can also keep control of her body. I'll tell you one thing that happens. I love gymnastics for all athletes. And Dominic Moceanu came on here. And we were talking about this because she has a son who wrestles. But she's an Olympic champion. Her husband is a gymnast. And they have the children doing gymnastics. The son one day just walks into a wrestling room, goes undefeated. Nobody touches him. Learning how to control your body is so important in sport. And it's such a difficult thing to do with young athletes because they grow. They gain weight, they grow. You send an athlete home for the summer, he comes back 10 weeks later, he could be 3 inches taller. He could be 8 pounds heavier. You got to restart everything. That will throw all of your timing off. It will throw all of your balance off. So once you can start to have control of your body, once you can start to understand it, and I really think that gymnastics does such a good job with that. Look, if you're going to be in sport, there's many sports where you are going to leave the ground, sometimes against your will. Football, boom, you're knocked off your feet. Wrestling, combat of any kind. Opponent grabs you and he's throwing you. There's times you're going to leave the ground, and now it's just you and gravity. It is your job to know how to tuck. It is your job to know how to come back to the ground in one piece. And that's something that gymnastics really can give you. And when you talk about the great body types for MMA, I think what we're all going to do is go think of great fighters and then go, what kind of body do they have? Well, they're all kind of similar. I mean, they really are, particularly in a sport where you're weighing guys in. When you're weighing guys, okay, great. They're going to weigh the same, but then that also kind of brings those height issues down. That's where you get a guy like Izzy Adesanya, by example, that is such a tall glass of water. He's taller than most heavyweights, but fighting at middleweight, he offers different problems that guys just aren't used to seeing. Guys are generally in the room sparring with guys around their same weight class. And generally that means a guy that's around your same height. So when you bring a guy in that throws all of that off, it becomes an issue. As far as the best body type for MMA, I will share with you that my final analysis is that if you do go look at many of the greats, they usually did have something, physically speaking, that was unique.